Hey there, Hushpup here, and we have some sad news. Over the weekend, LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed announced they were closing down the game for good. Or that's what the original video's intro was, as just before releasing it, the developer team made an additional announcement on Tuesday clearing things up. And it turns out while the game is still closing for iOS, Android, Windows PC and other platforms, it won't be closing down after a year on Facebook Gaming after all. The original announcement, shown on screen, said the game would be maintained on Facebook until the end of this year. Many players, including myself, took it as if we'd only get to keep playing on Facebook until it shut down later on. That's apparently not the case according to the latest update. On the new announcement, there was no end date listed for the game on Facebook, so it might be safe to assume that it's going to exist on there for quite a while longer. Though with this announcement it did mean I had to scrap the previous video, as releasing it would mean that all of the information there would be outdated. It was a heartfelt goodbye video, but since the game will live on in some capacity, that's out the window now. I'll add any relevant bits when possible to this one because recycling voice clips is good for the environment. Anyway, for the new announcement, the game is still being removed from stores February 28th, so if you don't have the game installed and still want to play on your phone or computer, make sure you download it before that date. Afterwards, you'll no longer be able to. Then players will have until April 28th, 2023 to play the game as usual. After that point, you'll no longer be able to log in to play anywhere other than Facebook Gaming. If you sync your account progress with a Facebook account, everything will transfer over and you'll be able to keep playing over on Facebook Gaming, so make sure you do that before the deadline. Now for the interesting part. The announcement specifically states they are not abandoning the game. There aren't any details as to what future updates will look like or if new content will still be added, but the game will still be playable on there for the foreseeable future. Now to tie into some of the things I said in the deleted video. I tried Facebook Gaming, and it doesn't really compare in quality. Maybe because they don't have data centers nearby me, but I noticed when streaming the game it was a little bit grainy, and I didn't really have the same quality gaming experience as I did when using my computer or my phone. But that's probably due to the fact that over there everything is streamed from the cloud rather than being installed locally. It didn't really make me want to play there, and I'm not sure that I will. It doesn't really help that it's on Facebook either, and I'm not really a big fan of Facebook. When I read the initial announcement, it definitely felt like an unlucky curse, as that would have been 3 big online LEGO games of different formats all having to shut down. But we were wrong in the end. LEGO Legacy will live on. It's no secret that the game has had its past struggles. When the developer team was downsized, many players knew it wasn't generating as much income as expected. Personally, I thought we'd see something like this happen mid-2022, but to my surprise, we kept getting new minifigures and events throughout the year. Seeing regular content like that get added to the game made the announcement to close the game on other platforms a bit shocking, as it made it appear as the game was stabilizing. Since it is probably an income issue, I can see why they made the move. Facebook Gaming is probably cheaper to run the game on, as they don't need to pay for all the various servers and store licensing fees. Having it just on one place will definitely cut down costs. Not sure what the developer costs actually are for putting your game on Facebook, but since it all appears to be streamed from the cloud, it must be way cheaper than the traditional platforms. Perhaps it was the overly expensive cost of buying things that eventually led to the game's income drying up. I myself aren't opposed to buying in-game stuff with money, but the prices always seemed way too high in this game. As a casual spender, you don't really get a lot for your money, so it's not really worth buying anything. A few times I've thought, hey, let's get enough currency to buy a few bags, and then, even if you do get the minifigure you want in the bag, which is unlikely, because it's a tile-based game, you might not even get enough tiles to unlock it, so it's not really worth it. Whereas other gacha games, you just get the character, so even if you have it already, getting a duplicate allows you to immediately power it up, rather than having 35 out of 100 tiles or whatever. The game even had that pass you could buy every 2 weeks, which to be fair would give a lot of value for the price, but compare that to other mobile games where the pass is not only more expensive, it doesn't even last a month, it was only 2 weeks. Or maybe it was the slow progression that made it hard to acquire new users. The reoccurring events were difficult to get into unless you've played for quite a while. Even then, some of the later events you had to pay to make any significant progress, as the character and set nodes were locked behind high star requirements. I remember being excited for the Ninjago event with Cole and Misako and then just being like, oh, I can't really do anything here, unless I spend a whole bunch of money. Which was probably the point, and they were hoping to generate income for the game. I doubt most people will make the switch though, so the game is definitely going to lose people with the transition. Though who knows, they may grow a little bit on Facebook. Let's be real though, who actually uses Facebook anymore? I barely use it, and all I use it for is just to stay connected with distant friends and family. For some, April 28th will be the last day they play the game. It's going to be sad for long-time players to say goodbye. Even though I've not been making videos over the past few months, I've still been playing every now and then. though I did find myself not logging in every day as much. It's no secret that the game had various budget cuts over its life cycle, and long-awaited features like raids could never be finished, which was sad as the concept seemed very cool. Such is the life of game dev though, I should know. It's also unfortunate I did not get to finish fully unlocking certain minifigures, like Magisto or some of the more pay-to-complete event minifigures. Was really looking forward to seeing how they performed at the higher star ranks, and also just to complete the collection. That was a part of the game that was really fun, collecting all the various minifigures of all the different categories and teams and factions. Even if they weren't all meta or even useful, a lot of personality was put into the game. I still remember the final days of LEGO Universe and LEGO minifigures online. For LEGO Universe, last month was crazy, with loads of interaction from the devs. A whole bunch of gear including items you couldn't unlock normally was given out. Crazy events would happen where devs would spawn game objects or NPCs in places they shouldn't be. It was a lot of fun. In the old video I mentioned that if the game was closing, we'd perhaps see some sort of currency boost or some free unlocks to use until the game closes, but since the game is continuing, that's definitely not happening in this case. LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed is a very fun turn-based tactical game that in the end suffered from a lack of developer resources. The really slow progression system didn't help either, which was made worse when the company tried to raise more income by making these pay-to-unlock events where you really couldn't make any progress as a free-to-play player. Even after multiple reruns. Cough, Ninjago, cough. I tried to introduce a few friends into this game. They loved it at first, but they gave up after their personal progression ground to a halt. They weren't even able to reach max level at the time. The worst part is the minifigures they had to farm to progress further are the older ones, which aren't all that useful later on. So you end up wasting a lot of daily resources into powering up characters you would rather just not have. The early game could definitely have been adjusted to help with user acquisition, but the team wouldn't have had the spare manpower to make such drastic changes. Anyway, I've rambled for long enough. This probably won't be my last video on the game. After all, when I recorded my update video, I did say there would be more LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed videos, though that was all planned and recorded before the shutting down announcement. Bad timing, it was uploaded and released afterwards, huh? Like the beginning of this video and most of the middle, the end has to change too. The game lives on as usual for a while longer and will find a new home on Facebook after the 28th. I'm not sure if all the devs are staying on the project or if any are full-time. It might become one of those games that's just put in maintenance mode and won't really receive any significant updates. At this stage it's unclear whether we'll get new minifigures or content when it's on Facebook or if it will just be event reruns forever. So if the developers are being moved and there's no more content to be made, let's all wish the developers luck on their next project and thank them for supporting the game as long as they did. Well, that's going to be it from me. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.